Hey guys, it's Matt here. Another weekend video. I'll probably do two this weekend. This is gonna be the band. I knew when I did my Dylan video last month, I would do the band quickly, and I am. I got everything here. Their catalog, their discography is not that big, but I've got a few things to show you. So let's see. How can I start? The band were one of the most influential groups of the late 60s, early 70s, with their kind of, back to roots Americana sound. It was almost like a direct response to psychedelia, with all of the elaborate fuzzy guitars and sitars and beads and, studio trickery. The band and, Dylan's John Wesley Harding and maybe in some ways the Beach Boys' Wild Honey. This was in late 67 after they had done the Basement Tapes together, Dylan and the band. Was almost like a move away from all the psych stuff. So when, this will lead me right in as a segue to Music from Big Pink. So when Music from Big Pink came out, in 1968, it was, a total, like a breath of fresh air to people who never quite got down with the psych thing. Actually, I'm not going to start though with Music from Big Pink. I'm going to start with when I did the Dylan video, and I showed you this already, so I won't take too long. This is Dylan and the Hawks doing. It's tons of discs. Their tour in Europe, where everyone was booing him and calling him Judas or whatever. Levon Helm couldn't take it, so he is not the drummer here. They have another drummer, but it's still the band, even though they're called the Hawks. And they're doing all Dylan material, of course. And it's the same show every night, same songs, same set list. But it's tremendous. Having said that. You see, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned this on the Dylan video. I didn't get through it. It's too much. I got through about half of it, and I just said, I'll return to it one day, and maybe I will, but not yet. And before we get to music from Big Pink, another thing I also showed in the Dylan video was the complete Basement Tapes that Bob did with the band this time. Because Levon is here. This is everything that they recorded. It's it's a masterpiece in terms of all the songs. And Real Marcus wrote a book about it, and there's a whole cult around the Basement Tapes. Endlessly rewarding. I'll be listening to this stuff for the rest of my life. Okay, so since I already dealt with that in the Dylan video, let's move on to Music from Big Pink. Here is the glare. This is the old Mobile Fidelity version. That's a Bob Dylan painting on the cover. It's a classic. Every song, is good. Tears of Rage is a Dylan number. To Kingdom Come is a great Rob. I might as well. So address. This now. Robbie Robertson was the main songwriter, right? But if you read Levon Helm's book, Levon says, especially on these earlier albums, the other guys contributed ideas to these songs too, and they just, agreed to let Robbie have credit, or Robbie took credit, or whatever. So, it's something that Levon holds against Robbie, or held against. Both of them have passed now. But, I don't know where I stand on that, because, I wasn't there. It's just all happening behind closed doors. I know that, Levon Helm didn't become any great songwriter after the demise of the band, and Robbie had a solo career, so, make of that what you will. But anyways, I felt the need to address that. So all of the Robbie originals on here are great. In a Station, Caledonia Mission. The Wait, of course, is a classic. Probably first heard that song on the Easy Rider soundtrack or the film. We Can Talk, Long Black Veil is the Lefty Frizzell number. Chest Fever with Garth's awesome organ intro. Lonesome Susie, This Wheel's on Fire is another Dylan tune. And I Should Be Released is the third Dylan tune. So, you know, still under the aegis of Zimmerman here, but very much their own men as well. Might as well show you guys this since I pulled everything out. This is the big box set for, it's a nice cover, isn't it? For the Music from Big Pink album. It's, let's see, a CD, a Blu-ray, and 2 vinyl LPs in the original 45 of the weight, and I Should Be Released. I say the original, but it's just a reproduction. So you get the album in 5.1. You know I'm a big surround sound guy, so I bought all these band box sets in surround. This is a nice purchase. I like it. Okay, let's put this over here. Next one is The Band, everyone's favorite one, right? 1969, the Brown album. Every song is a classic. These are nice reissues, these, you know, remastered CDs, which came out, 20-odd years ago. Boy, I can't get a good view of it there. Bonus tracks. Everything is awesome on here. Across the Great Divide, Rag Mama Rag, that was a hit, right? Night They Drove Old Dixie Down, along with The Weight, probably their 2 most famous numbers. When You Awake, Up on Cripple Creek, Whispering Pines, Jemima's Surrender, Rockin' Chair, Look Out Cleveland, Jawbone, The Unfaithful Servant, and King Harvest Has Surely Come. Boom, boom. If you don't have a band album and you're thinking about getting one, get this one first and then get music from Big Pink. 5-star classic, one of the truly great albums in 1969. Here is the box set, the 5.1 mix. Again, 2 CDs because you get their Woodstock performance. A Blu-ray with the whole album in 5.1. 2 vinyl LPs and then another reproduction of the Rag Mama Rag and the Unfaithful Servant 45. Well, there's no glare on that. So, can't recommend it more. Needs to be in every collection. All right. 1970. All right. Now 1970, they didn't do a classic album, but they did in my opinion, a pretty great one. This is Stage Fright. Now, this is the old DCC one that Steve Hoffman did, which uses alternate mixes. I like these mixes. In fact, I've never owned the regular album as it was released in 1970. This is the only version I've ever owned, so this is what I know. If this isn't a classic, it's a great album. Strawberry Wine, Sleepin', Time to Kill, Just Another Whistle Stop, All La Glory, The Shape I'm In, I love that one. W.S. Walcott Message Show, there's a big old helicopter or something coming by, I'm sure you can hear it. I'll stop talking. I'll pause it for a sec. Okay, it's good. I can't remember where I left off. W.S. Walcott Medicine Show, Daniel and the Sacred Heart, Stage Fright, another great song. And The Rumor, another great song. Stage Fright was written after Robbie had stage fright and had to have a hypnotist come and hypnotize him into performing. I think he was sick too with some kind of fever. But anyways, this is a great album, and it needs more kudos. If you're looking at the most underrated album in their catalog, it's that one. Here's the box set. The 5.1 mix. This one, 2 CDs. The second CD is Live at the Royal Albert Hall, 1971. The Blu-ray with the surround sound. Also, the Live at the Royal Albert Hall is on the Blu-ray. And then the vinyl LP, Stage Fright, and then the 7-inch Time to Kill, back with The Shape I'm In. So, I do recommend these if you don't have a surround sound rig, then you at least get the the album remastered, and you get the live show and the LPs. So, really good stuff. Okay, in 1971, they released, well, their weakest album from their glory years, Cahoots. It's not bad. It's just that, Robbie's songs weren't quite up to par at this point. They recorded the album in some brand new studio in New York that people hadn't really used before. I don't know if that affects the songs, but it might give the recording is a kind of a different kind of quality. Having said that, Life's a Carnival is still great. When I Paint My Masterpiece is my favorite version of that Bob Dylan song. What else is on here? Shootout in Chinatown, Smoke Signal Volcano. I mean, Van Morrison is on here on a track. He apparently got along well with Richard Manuel, and then leading to him performing at the Last Waltz. So things were starting to slow down by this point, but it's not terrible. And the last of the big box sets was the Cahoots one. You get the CD with bonus tracks. You get CD 2 live at the Olympia Theater in Paris in May in 1971. You get the Blu-ray with the album in surround and bonus tracks. You get the LP and then the 7-inch Life's a Carnival back with the Moonstruck 1. So they kind of stopped after this one. There was a surround sound box done of Rock of Ages a long time ago, but a long time ago. It was in the 2010s. I didn't buy it. It wasn't part of this reissue program. So that might sound good too. I don't know. Rock of Ages has come out in 1972. It's a really good live album. The band, they were outstanding live. When you think about how many great performances or live albums you can buy of theirs that are really good. The whole tour with Dylan and the Hawks is great. This is great. And the Last Waltz is great. So, I love this. It's got this was a double album when it came out. Stuff on here, which hadn't been on an album before, like Get Up Jake is great. And the Genetic Method is the intro to Chest Fever. I Don't Want to Hang Up My Rock and Roll Shoes, the old Chuck Willis tune. You get bonus tracks. You get those horns on things, on certain songs, which add, to the allure. Like they drove Old Dixie Down sounds different on here with the horns, kind of better. But I guess I wouldn't take it over the track that's on the band. But this is one of the really great live albums of the early 70s. All right, don't have a box set to show you for that. Moondog Matinee, of course, is their 1973 album of cover versions. Robbie says he wasn't running out of ideas. They just wanted to record these songs to kind of pay homage to them and to expose them to a modern audience. It's pretty good. In 73, this is one of the first rock, covers album by a rock band. Bowie had done pinups that year, I think before this too. And of course, after this, it would become kind of, not de rigueur, but, a lot of Lennon did rock and roll after this. And, Costello did his country album in 81 and Joe Jackson in the same year, Jumpin' Jive. And there's other ones, but this and pinups were, I think, the first ones I can remember. Now, in the country field, those artists have been doing cover albums of cover versions, or like a country artist would do a whole album of like Hank Williams covers. That had been going on since all through the 60s. But for rock bands, it wasn't as common. In 1974. They hook up with Dylan again for the Planet Waves album, went to number 1. Pretty good record. I wouldn't call it a classic, but it's strong. It's as strong as Stage Fright. I don't know if I like Stage Fright better than this. I never really asked myself that before. But it's great, or at least really good. They did the Before the Flood live album, and this was a double LP. That was a successful tour, much more successful, than when they had toured with the Hawks. When I did the Dylan video, I didn't have this box set, but I just got it last week. So no, of course, I've not even listened to a third of this, but I've been getting into it. It's good. This is the 1974 live recordings, you know, that they did when they toured for the album. I don't know if this is every show that they performed, or if it's just the ones recorded for the album, or even if, you know, they recorded all these songs thinking that they would be on the album. But it's good. When I first looked at it, I thought, oh, it's the same set list, you know, just like the one with the Hawks. But it's not, you know, it's mostly the same songs, but they vary it up. So, you know, like they didn't do the exact same songs one night that they did the previous night. It's good. I mean, Dylan and the band always interested me, whether they're doing an album or just recording the basement tapes or doing a tour like this. I think that they should have recorded more, you know, but they didn't need each other by this point. You know, I mean, Dylan is a huge artist, and, you know, he's going to record with who he wants to record with, and the band was successful on their own. So we're lucky we got this. Pick this up while you can. This is already out of print in a lot of, they weren't selling it on a lot of websites I went to, but then I went to one, I found it for like it was about $150. Whereas the Dylan, what is it, 4 discs from the Budokan, you know, thing in '78, that thing is like $175. So you get all these discs for cheaper than you get, you know, the other one is 4 discs. So pick this up. Okay. I also talked about the basement tapes. That was recorded in '67. The album, you know, came out in '75. Folks, I love this album. This is a 5-star album. And when I play the basement tapes, this is what I usually reach for, rather than the big bootleg series. It also has some new band songs, well, new to the listener at the time in '75, that were not recorded, you know, in the Big Pink House in '67, that are great. And, you know, you may think, oh, that doesn't fit in. Well, when I first heard this album when I was a kid, I didn't know that. So 5-star record. Dylan sings most of the material, but the band do some of their stuff too on here. And I love it. Another 5-star classic record. That same year, Northern Lights, Southern Cross, right? This is their last really strong record, certainly stronger than Cahoots. I don't know if I like it more than Stage Fright, but it's great. You know, I mean, for a '60s group to still be this strong in the mid '70s was pretty cool. Again, you know, these are the Hollywood and Vine Capitol remasters from, you know, about 20 years ago. Yeah, I like most of what's on here. Forbidden Fruit, Hobo Jungle, Ophelia is great. Acadian Driftwood is great. Ring Your Bell, it makes no difference. It's one of their best songs. Jupiter Hollow, Rags and Bones, and then you get a bonus track, Twilight. Oh, you get a couple bonus tracks. Good stuff. And the last time, unfortunately, that they would be this good. Okay, in 1976, they did The Last Waltz. Robbie decided mostly, that they were done touring, and, you know, his good buddy Martin Scorsese filmed it, and this is the Blu-ray that was released. It's you can stream it too. I mean, I watched it just the other night on, you know, either Amazon or Netflix, but I do have this too. This is a great. Is this 4K? Yeah, 4K. You know, 5.1 surround. I mean, it's awesome. Again, though, to bring up what Levon said in his book, he didn't like the film, or he thought that, you know, Martin was giving Robbie too many camera angles, you know, and stuff like that, pretty boy shots or whatever he called them. So, but it doesn't take away from my enjoyment of the film. Here's a nice little box set, 4 CDs, yes, containing stuff that wasn't in the movie. For instance, you know, like in the film, each of the guest stars, you know, Joni Mitchell and Neil Young and Muddy Waters and Van and, you know, Ronnie Hawkins and such, Neil Diamond, only get the one song, and then Dylan gets two at the end. He gets Forever Young with Baby Let Me Fall You Down. But some of these guys get more songs on here, proving that that must have been a long concert that, you know, in that night in 1976 when it was filmed. The album, I don't think the album didn't come out until '78, so it was like the last release. But before that, there it is. Islands was a contractual obligation album that they owed Capitol, and so they had to get this out. This came out in '77 before the soundtrack to the film could come out. So these songs were not recorded for this album. They were stuff that they had been recorded in the past that they just, you know, hadn't released. So when you judge it, you know, you need to understand that. You know, I have to use that criterion. This was not being presented as a new band album, but there wasn't any press junkets at the time saying that either. So everyone took this as the new band album. So if you're disappointed in it, that's understandable. You know, Robbie has only elucidated and given clarification about this, you know, subsequently. So, no, it's not that good. In fact, what do I like on here? Oh, I hardly even remember these songs. Christmas must be tonight. That doesn't sound like something that they would do, but yeah, Robbie wrote that. Yeah, another cover, Georgia on My Mind. No, this is the worst one, worse than Cahoots. So, anyways, though, I love these guys, and when you look at, if you just want to look at, say, 66 to 76, right? That 10-year span, they were far more hit than miss. During those years, the only misstep really was Cahoots, you know, unless you're really going to be down on Moondog Matinee, you know. So one of the most influential bands of all time, and yeah, a group I will be listening to for the rest of my life. So that's Matt signing off. Hope you enjoyed it.